Hey, this is Ryan from 60 Cycle Home to Guitar Podcast, and today I'm going to talk about Gibson a little bit. We usually don't say much about Gibson anymore these days on the podcast or here on the YouTube channel. I mean, first of all, they weren't at Winter NAMM, so I didn't do any coverage of their booth or anything like that. And it's just kind of exhausting. Seems like every other week a new thing's out about Gibson, some article about them going bankrupt or being in financial trouble, or some new guitar that they've built that everyone hates. And so I just kind of like avoid it and let everyone else talk about it. But I was watching this video from Spectre Sound Studios with Glenn Flicker? I can't remember how to say his last name. Anyways, with Glenn. And he was doing his typical thing, getting angry, yelling at the camera, doing his whole rant on things. And I just felt like I want to make a video about the Gibson Modern Flying V because, believe it or not, I actually think it looks kind of cool. I don't hate it. Some people know that I'm a graphic designer by my main profession, and so I like to think that, I think my opinions on the aesthetics of guitars is valid. I have an artist's eye. I have an eye for design. I'm not just some guy who's like, oh, it's not a Strat or it's not a Les Paul. It looks awful. I can look at things and be like, oh, I like this line. I like the color. I don't like this. I don't like that. So I just wanted to pull up the Modern Flying V here and make a case for it because honestly, I don't think it's that bad. And then after that, I'll go through some of the other Gibson Custom Shop stuff that I do think is that bad because there's some doozies in there. But anyways, let's take a look at this thing. All right, so the thing that a lot of people are complaining about is that it looks like the Starfleet insignia from Star Trek. And yeah, that's true. It looks very close to it. But I don't think that's really bad. I think the Starfleet insignia looks cool. And definitely with this gold color, you get that feel. But also the Starfleet insignia is a little bit different. The lower swoop would be cut a lot sharper in like that. This is more of just like a more spacey take on the Flying V, and honestly, I think the shape solves some problems that the Flying V has. I really like that the strap button is down here underneath the top horn instead of the tip on the top horn. I've got a Flying V back here that is a project guitar that I made, and I did almost the exact same thing, only I had that button on the back of the body. Having the strap button on the tip causes a lot of like balance issues. It puts the guitar way out to the side. It makes it feel a lot longer than it needs to be. Putting the strap button closer to the tail, to the bridge anyways, pulls the guitar back a little bit and it'll sit more comfortable on your body. I also think that this is a much more compact design compared to traditional Flying Vs, and I think it's going to be a lot more comfortable to actually hold and play. Like traditional Flying Vs are incredible to look at. They're a lot of fun to look at, but they're pretty uncomfortable to play because of that. Another thing that makes it different than the Starfleet insignia, because they could have gone full Jackson Roswell Rhodes, which is another comparison people make, and it's true. It's got the same sort of flavor thing going on as the Roswell Rhodes, with a longer top horn and a shorter bottom horn. But something I really like is that they didn't complete the round edge all the way to the fretboard. They have a nice little cut there that I think is a nice addition. I think it's got a nice little bit of style there. I like the binding around the edge of the guitar. And I think it just sets it apart from just like slapping a Starfleet style shape on there. There's a little bit of extra thought into it. And I think it looks good. I think it's, a throwback to traditional Flying Vs that have that little bit of a cut. I've always been a fan of the Albert King style Flying V that has a drastic cut. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more of a drastic cut on this. My really only big complaint about this guitar is the finishing options that they chose. Let's see if I can figure this out. Change finish. Here we go. So they have the ebony prism, they have silver prism, and they have gold prism. I'm a big fan of contrast on guitars, especially between the paint and the pickguard. I don't like that they made the pickguard on the gold one gold, and I don't like that they made the pickguard on the silver one silver, and then on the dark metallic one, it's dark metallic, which actually that one has the most contrast. Even though I don't really like black guitars, I feel like they got closer to what I would do on this one. I would honestly swap out that silver pickguard and put it on the gold one to keep the metallic look, but to have some contrast there. And vice versa for the silver one. And then maybe for that dark one, put another gold pickguard on there. Spread some gold out onto every guitar is what I'm saying. Gibson, send me 3 of these and I'll mix them all up to my own personal specs. And I'll hang them on the wall back there and I'll play them. But seriously though, I don't think they're ugly. I think these are cool looking and I would totally play one. The price is, that's what they charge for their custom shop stuff, and that's what this is. This isn't replacing Flying V's for the rest of time, if Gibson lasts much longer. But it's a unique thing. I would totally play this. I would put it in my quiver if I could afford it, which I super can't. I super can't afford a $4,500 guitar. All right, let's go look at some of the other guitars here in the custom shop. I'm going to pick out the ones that I do think are bad. So these just came out the other week. Les Paul Custom Boogie Van. I think this finish is so stupid. I see what they were trying to go for. I'll select a different finish here. We'll do bell bottom. And I don't actually hate the colors, but I do hate the way they did it. And the thing that really bugs me, I don't mind having stripes on guitars. I wouldn't mind having this kind of offset. They're trying to do like the stripe that would be on the side of a vintage, like 70s van on it. What I don't like about this is the visual tension and unevenness between that line and the bottom of the pickup rings. That's just sloppy design, in my opinion. They should have pushed that line down a half an inch to give you a good weight in between the pickup rings and that red line, or they should have brought that line up into the pickup rings so that it was being interrupted. It didn't make it feel like the pickup rings were supposed to be part of that line, because right now this just interrupting the visual flow, and it's just sloppy design, and it looks bad in my opinion. And for what are they charging? A $5,000 guitar? Doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. I get the concept, trying to hit this, vintage 70s sort of like van look or whatever. And then another thought on that is they totally missed the mark with a lot of the colors. They've got A Squad, which is totally an A-team rip. Street Race, which is black, blue, and a darker blue. Bell Bottom. Superhero, which is like basically Superman colors. And then Stardust, which I don't mind those colors. Silver, blue, red. If you're trying to do a 70s van thing, there's a big color way that you missed here. You missed the gold, brown, and orange like color that actually would have looked really cool, especially if there was a little bit of a metal flake in there. You could put on a wizard decal, or like a purple like diamond inlay thing somewhere to reference the windows that they would put in the sides of vans and whatever. I just think they missed the mark on it. I don't get who they're trying to market to with these guitars. Super, super ugly. Really bad execution, in my opinion. People complain about these neon guitars. I see more of a market for these than I do for those van guitars. There's people who like neon stuff. I like neon stuff. And there's people who like Les Pauls. And you have a clear, target market there. Let's find one that I don't like. This will be my final one here. I'm not going to go through all of them. But the Year of the Dog, almost a $7,000 guitar. This breaks a big rule that I talk about on the podcast a lot. The difference between a guitar that was made simply to be hung on the wall as art, or a guitar that's meant to be played, is that the art on it is only viewable as vertical, right side up. I won't even let me turn it. When the guitar itself is right side up, as in hanging on the wall like one of these. When you have it in a playing position, the art is sideways. This isn't a guitar that was designed by someone to play. Like, I think that's a design failure every single time it happens. Every single guitar, whether it's an art piece or not, should have the art upright when you're playing it. So that's the part where I get just about as angry as Glenn does. When I see a guitar that's got sideways art on it when it's in the playing position, I get that maybe this is like, like it's for the year of the dog. It's like they're trying to get sales to like wealthy, Asian businessmen or something like that. I guess. Still, like, just put it at an angle, put it at a 45-degree so that the art is viewable standing up and being played. Like, think about this stuff, guys, when you make guitars. Anyways, I don't have any other thoughts I feel anyone needs to hear about Gibson guitars. I hope that they do better in the future. I hope they increase their quality control. I hope they get their money stuff sorted out, and I hope they get a new CEO. All right, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me nasty comments. Support us on Patreon if you like this channel. Later, guys.